I mean, nothing for me. Like, my team's been out for weeks, so I'm all good. How are y'all doing? I mean, I would push back on that a little bit. Um, I would say that based on what I saw over the last 5 weeks, Harbaugh's doing a fantastic job. Greg Roman has been in his bag recently. Tyler Huntley, Tyler Huntley has shown that he is on par, if not better than Lamar. And honestly, like, why pay him?
Oh, my bad. Can you hear? Can you hear now? Can you hear? I was muted. I was muted. Okay.
Wow.
All right. All right. They hear me.
Mm-mm.
I think you can hear me now. All right. All right. It says I had no sound. Okay. Okay. I'm back. I'm back. I know you can hear me now. Cool. 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 All right. Basically, I was saying that we know that we're not going anywhere without Lamar. All right. So, okay. Might muted. Might muted. You guys can hear me now? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Now you hear us. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. What we got? Noah says, sadly, I'm at work, so I'll be exiting rather quickly, but hope y'all have a good show, and I hope the crew enjoys the rest of their day. Y'all take care, and let's go Ravens. Hey,
Thank you, Noah.
appreciate it,
You.
Noah. Ravens ain't going nowhere except home, so, appreciate that,
Home is where
though.
the heart is, though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where they need to be.
Danny says Mike Tomlin showed Harbaugh what a real coach looks like. I was just about to say that. Okay. I was just about to say that. Listen, first of all, congratulations to the Steelers. Right, the better team won. They're the better team. The better team won. The superior coaching won. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Tomlin is a superior coach. No questions about it. He's shown it throughout both of their careers. Superior coaching won today, and they deserve to make the playoffs. I think they're in the playoffs now, aren't they?
The Steelers, not yet. I mean, they're going, but if the Chargers and Raiders tie, then the Steelers are out.
Gotcha. All right. So, and congrats to Suge. I know Suge is watching.
Yeah,
He's
man.
smiling, and
Well,
he should be.
really happy for Suge, man.
Yeah. Look.
Suge wasn't even talking trash in the Discord. He said, "I know Lamar's out." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "No, man, you talk your trash.
Talk your trash. You're in. Talk your trash, man. Like you deserve it. Like it doesn't matter,
Yes.
right? Like it doesn't matter how you do it. You did it. If we would have made it in, we would have made it in because we relied on the Jaguars, probably the worst team in the NFL, to get it done for us. That's what we were relying on, and we would have taken a victory lap. Us at Ravens flock would have taken a victory lap had we done it, but we didn't do it, and we got exactly what we deserved. What's that? 6 losses in a row? What we had?
6 in a row. They were 8-3, number one in the conference, and then John Harbaugh started coaching his ass off.
But when I put on Twitter that Harbaugh can't elevate this team, I get a lot of pushback from the Harbaugh protectors talking about how great of a job he did, being shorthanded. Meanwhile, another shorthanded team, the Tennessee Titans, they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah, had they lost about the same number of games to injury as the Ravens did this year, and they are the 1 seed in the AFC. And honestly, it looks like the Ravens wouldn't have made it anyway. Miami's already up 14-0, so
Ooh.
they needed Miami to lose that game in order to get in. So whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Kimberly Harmon, thank you for joining the live stream. Ravens better pick someone in the draft to help the Ravens in the 2022 season. We have a lot to talk about this offseason, and we will get to the draft. They have 11 picks right now, 5 fourth-round picks. I know that gets people excited. I would say trade every last one of those fourth-round picks because we don't know how to draft, right? Not late, so I don't want to see any of those fourth-round picks. I don't want to see any second-round picks, to be honest. We suck at drafting in the second round. So trade up as high as possible with the first-round pick and then try to get back into the first round with the rest of those picks. I don't want to see you wasting picks in time drafting these guys late and you just fumble the bag with them, right?
Well, I don't have any problem with them using picks. I mean, I agree that they should be trying to move up and get difference makers, right? But it's the way they use them. Like, why'd you draft a fullback? Why'd you draft a corner in the 5th round when you knew you didn't have a spot for another corner on your roster? It's that kind of stuff. They like you said, they waste the picks. You didn't have a spot for Shaun Wade, but you needed young depth on the D line and didn't get it. You have Derek Wolfe, Brandon Williams, and Calais Campbell. There's a good chance all 3 of them are gone next year, and now you got nothing on the D line. You got Madubuike. Maybe there's a couple other guys there, but you don't have a good group on the D line, and you've ignored it.
Yeah,
because you wanted to draft a fullback from your brother's school. You wanted to draft a corner that you knew had no chance of making the team.
Yeah. Shout out to JP. Says, great job covering the Ravens this season, fellas. Appreciate you, JP. Thank you. Look, we're gonna talk about this a lot this offseason. We're gonna talk about it a lot, but I just can't stress enough, man. 6 straight losses. Injury does not excuse that away. It does not explain that away, right? 6 straight losses, and yes, that first loss was on Lamar. Well, I wouldn't put it on Lamar. He was starting in that game, but Andrews just couldn't hold on to the ball. But he didn't. I'll put it on Lamar. He didn't play well in that game, and we know it is what it is. Like, we need Lamar to be Superman in order to win. And that was proven these last 5 weeks. Okay, we play close in every game. That's great, and we can't get the win. So playing close against the Rams, playing close against the Packers, playing close against the Steelers, it's always like they're not all on the same level, right? Like, they're not all on the same level, but we always play to the level of our competition. Mm-hmm. That is a coaching thing. We should have been able to just go out there and just take care of business against the Steelers. They're not a good team.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah, they're not a good team. They lost their starting running back fairly early on in the game. They have the worst run defense in the league. They should have been able to handle business today.
Yeah.
But if you look at the ticker, like we're saying, it's not just about this year. Because if it was just this year, nobody would be talking about moving on from Harbaugh. But the fact is, since they won the Super Bowl, they've missed the playoffs 5 out of 9 years. And you say, hey, that's not that bad, right? But then you realize that they made it 3 straight times because of Lamar. Harbaugh was on his way to being fired. In Lamar's rookie year, they were 4-5 midway through the season, and they had the number 1 defense in the league. Lamar came in and turned that team around. Lamar took that team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But, and they got to the playoffs, obviously, the following 2 years. So, you remove Lamar from the equation, and it looks a whole lot worse for this coaching staff. And even with Lamar in the equation, they won 10, 14, and I believe 11 last year and got to the playoffs and got embarrassed all 3 years.
Yep.
Like, they haven't been doing a good enough job.
No. Shout out to Couch Rider Raven. He says, get O-line. Absolutely. We've been saying that for the last 2 years that we need to get O-line. Even from the 14-2 season, me and B were like, we got to get O-line here because Yanda is probably going to be his last year. Because even that year, he had said that he was considering retiring, right, prior to that season. So it's like, okay, well, he ain't going to be playing for much longer. We thought Ben Powers could potentially step in, right? Okay, fine. But
because Marshall lied to y'all about him.
Well, I mean, look, they drafted him, and up to that point, we've done a good job developing O-linemen. Marshall Yano was a 3rd round pick, right? So we thought, okay, well maybe they got it right with that. And Bradley Bozeman was on the team already, but they didn't develop it into anything. And then they got Tyree Phillips and Ben Bredesen, and they haven't developed into anything. And now they have Ben Cleveland, so now we got to wait and see with that. But you've already drafted it enough, and they've shown nothing. So now you have to start getting proven players. You're going to have to start getting those players higher in the draft, the guys that you know are talented, because whatever it is, whether it's your scouting or it's the coaching, you're not getting these guys to perform. And we look silly this year. Like these guys look, they can't, even before, I'm not even talking about the talent. I'm not talking about just not being able to block. They don't know their assignments. You're getting pre-snap penalties, false starts, illegal formations. That's just not knowing what you're supposed to be doing out there. That's a coaching thing, man.
Yeah.
So like it's been embarrassing this whole year.
If it's one guy, yeah, that guy's not doing his job, and you replace him and you move on. When it's everybody, it is a coaching issue.
Yeah.
And I saw, again, I just want to get this out of the way real quick. We don't need to talk about it, but I saw a lot of Ravens fans complaining about James Prochet being inactive again before the game. And I'll just put this out there. Whose decision do you think that was? Was it James's decision? Was it Greg's decision?
Was it Giro's
or
decision?
Was it John's decision?
Yeah.
And you just deal with the ramifications of that, and we'll just move on.
Yeah.
Because if you think he makes a difference, go talk to John about it. Don't talk to us anymore.
Hey, shout out to Attitude Pop. He says, Harbaugh. Oh, see the play on words there? Harbaugh needs to be fired, and Giro DaCosta needs to sit back and look at this team, and coaching staff, and Bisciotti needs to look at this as well. You're the owner, and isn't nothing they can win. They can't win without Lamar. So
I don't know what scenario there is where Harbaugh gets fired and Giro is around to survey the state of the team.
Yes, understand when we say fire Harbaugh, everybody's going. Like nobody's hanging around.
We should be more clear about that. Fire Harbaugh and down.
Yeah, the rest of them aren't staying. Right, that's a clean sweep right there. If we get rid of Harbaugh, and I'll say this, people are making excuses about the injuries. And look, that's fine until you don't make the playoffs, right? When you don't make the playoffs, you have even more time to assess why you didn't make the playoffs. If we made the playoffs, then we don't have time to assess what's going on with the team right now. We have to prepare for the next week, right? So you're in playoff mode, and when you lose in the playoffs, you're thinking, okay, we made the playoffs. What happened in the playoffs to where we couldn't win that game? So that's where your mind is at naturally. When you don't make the playoffs for whatever reason, you start to evaluate. Hey, we didn't even make the playoffs. Now you're having a different conversation as opposed to losing in the playoffs. So I would say this. I'm not saying Harbaugh's fired. I would say he will definitely be on the hot seat next year, depending on the moves he makes. Basically, if Giro comes back, he's on the hot seat. He's because then there's no more excuses. There's no more excuses. This next year is the last year, historically, right? It's his fifth year. It'll be his 5th year with Lamar. No coach and quarterback combo has ever won if they didn't get it done in that first 5 years. Won a Super Bowl, right? Is that the stat?
Right. Yeah. So, you have to win a Super Bowl within your first 5 years with a head coach and quarterback, or they're not going to do it. Now they can win after that if they've won already in their first 5 years. That's happened. But if a head coach and quarterback don't win the Super Bowl within their first 5 years together, that was the stat. That it never happens.
Yeah. All right. Let me read some of these comments here. You guys got to get it off your chest. Felipe Marino, what's up, man? He says Tyler Huntley is horrible. Plus, watch Ravens draft Sauce instead of a stud wide receiver. I've seen people say draft what's his name, Sauce Jones or whatever.
Gardner.
Sauce Gardner.
Alabama.
Yeah, it's a stupid take, man. Like I'm not trying to diss anybody, that likes that, but like, I mean, this is how we end up with an incompetent O-line. You want to go defense or best player available, which is always seems to be on defense, and you ignore the offense. You have to put your focus on offense. Forget this defense. This defense is never going to be that type of defense it used to be under Wink. Wink is not that good of a coach. I keep telling you.
It's never going to be that type of defense under anybody because those type of defenses don't exist in the NFL.
Right. King Jeffrey, thank you for joining the live stream. Says Andrew is a beast, but I've been noticing small tantrums after not getting balls his way or inaccurate passes. I think they are starting to force feed him, and defenses are jumping on it. I'm gonna disagree a little bit. So here's what's going on, because I know we're not used to seeing this here in Baltimore. When you have good receiving, you have good wide receivers, good pass catchers, they want the ball. They're going to complain when they don't get the ball when they know that they're beating their man and they're not getting the ball their way. That comes with the territory. It don't matter who you have. You have a top pass catcher. If we have Hopkins, if we have, if we got Devontae Adams, you got Stephon Diggs, all those guys are going to say, look, man, I was open out there. Get me the ball. That's not a problem. That's a good thing. Just because people get frustrated on the sideline, like we see it more because cameras are everywhere. But this is natural. And you have to be able to say, okay, look, we're going to get you next time or whatever. That's fine that he's frustrated. I'm actually very happy with the growth I'm seeing from Andrews. I was very critical of him. There's still questions about him being able to make those clutch catches. But what I've seen from Andrews is he's stepping up even when Lamar is not there. He's the only one out there saying, get me the ball, let me make something happen with it. Him and Rashad Bateman are the only ones doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rashad's out there getting very angry as well when they're not finding him when he's open. Because,
that's a good thing.
He's a guy who I mean, whether it's true on the NFL level at this point yet, or not, he's in his head. He's saying, "Man, I'm that guy.
Yeah,
I'm that number one wide receiver. We need a catch. We need to be coming to me.
Yeah,
and they're not doing it. And he's getting frustrated. Which brings me to one of my takeaways from the second half of this season for Baltimore as well. It's time to move on from Hollywood. In my opinion, I think they should do it this offseason while he's still got a couple years left on that contract, on that rookie deal. He's got his 4th year and then the 5th year option. And this isn't to say that Marquise is a bad player. He's not. He went over 1,000 yards this year, so congrats to him. He's a good enough wide receiver, but he's not a number one, and he doesn't look like he is, at least at this point, a consistent number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
And if I'm Baltimore, with a really strong wide receiver class coming up and picking, in the top 15 or 16 for the first time in a while, I'm saying, look, let me see if I can get a day 2 pick for Hollywood and replace him in the draft with a arguably more talented player.
Yeah.
And move on from there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would say, fine, trade him, but go after a proven wide receiver. I know people are down on Allen Robinson because he had a down year, but I'm all on board for getting Allen Robinson, right? We know why. Injuries, getting sick, just being on just a terrible team. Wasn't really trying to use him. I mean, he wasn't trying to be there, right? They tagged him. They forced him to stay there. So everything was just going bad over there. But I still think he's one of the top wide receivers in the league. I want somebody like that. I don't want to go in the draft and get somebody because, again, I keep saying this. Give me Randy Moss, not Santana Moss. I don't want to go in the draft and then we get, he's good enough, right? We end up getting like the 5th wide receiver in the draft, right? If we're going to say, hey, we trade Hollywood and then we're going to try to trade up to get the top wide receiver in the draft, all right, that's fine. But if we're not going to do that, man, trade for a wide receiver. Look, I'll trade for Adam Thielen. You know what I'm saying? Like, get somebody that we know can play. What Hollywood's doing right now, man, is just, look, congrats, you got your 1,000 yards. But, man, you fell off. Like, you completely fell off, man. Like, you dropped a touchdown pass that would have won us the game. You dropped a sideline pass. Yeah. Like, man, your head is not in it. That wasn't good. I can't defend that. And I like Hollywood, but I cannot defend that. Shout out to our guy Shaheen, man. What time is it over there, Shaheen? It's probably like 1:00 in the morning or something over there, man. He says we went from drafting Andrews and Orlando in the 3rd round with Ozzie to Boykin, Sack Daddy with EDC. Also, Harbaugh is trash. I have no arguments with what you're saying there, my friend. I'm not going to say Harbaugh's trash, but Harbaugh is not who you think he is. Harbaugh protectors is who I'm talking about. Yeah. Let's see. We're at pick 14 now, Felipe says. Yes, for now. We got to see how the rest of the day goes, and we could slide. I think
16 is as low as they can go.
Yeah.
I believe. But regardless, they're going to be in that range. And I say go ahead and draft a wide receiver because, they do have Rashad Bateman. They do have Mark Andrews, who is kind of their de facto number one right now. Like they've got some talent there. And, I think the money, because Allen Robinson is going to cost money. And Chris Godwin, who's going to cost money. I think the money needs to go into the O-line right now. It is an emergency situation on the O-line. And I would rather not put a rookie out there and expect him to start. I would rather they spend the money and get someone who they know can play at a high level on the O-line. And it's fine to go and get another wide receiver in the draft because they have some guys who are contributing already.
Yeah. Real quick, we got 41 people in here, man. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Just take 2 seconds, hit the subscribe button. And while you're hitting that subscribe button, if you're a boxing fan, even if you're not a boxing fan, if you just like seeing our faces, I want you to go over to our other channel, Ring Kings Podcast. Go over there, hit that subscribe button. In fact, you go on our homepage and scroll down. It's at the bottom there. You just hit subscribe. All right. We appreciate that. It's a brand new page. We got 1 episode up right now. We just finished recording with our friend OTR Mike, episode 2. Right. Lots of good stuff there. That'll be out there soon. So, go ahead and support. Let's see. We have Jonathan 94 Fresh. Thank you for joining the live stream. Says, why everyone hates Harbs. I'm mad that he gambled away the first Steelers game, but what else?
How about you had a running back dominating the game and you refused to just give him the ball, and you had your bad second-year quarterback turning the ball over in a game that was win or go home.
But again, this goes beyond this year, and I think I think a lot of people that are making this argument are younger people that really don't even remember or just really young when that last Super Bowl happened, right? Or, you just forgot how long it's been. It's been 10 years since we won that Super Bowl. And since that Super Bowl run, we have won 2 playoff games. It goes well beyond this year, right? The year that we drafted Lamar, that offseason before we drafted him, Steve Bisciotti said he had thought about firing John Harbaugh. People forget that. The owner said, yes, I thought about firing Harbaugh. He also said John Harbaugh was on the hot seat. He didn't say those words, hot seat. He said Harbaugh is under more pressure than he's ever been in his career. Okay. That's what the owner, the boss, said. Okay. So he was already not happy with what's going on. King Jeffrey just subscribed. Appreciate you, King Jeffrey. Thank you. But
yeah, it really comes down to would you keep a coach who in 9 seasons won 2 playoff games? That's it. They've missed the playoffs 5 times and they've won 2 playoff games. And now, you say, hey, but he won a Super Bowl. Okay, so now the question is, how many years of grace does that buy you? Because they missed the playoffs the 3 straight years immediately following the Super Bowl. So for me, when you win the Super Bowl and then you miss the playoffs the next 3 years after you purged your roster, grace is kind of gone at that point, right?
Right.
And it's fine because they've kind of brought it back. They got Lamar in there and they've been they've won double-digit games every year, but they're not getting it done when it matters. So again, it's how much grace does a Super Bowl win buy you? How many years is that coach untouchable after winning a Super Bowl? And is 2 playoff wins in 9 years okay? Because what I'm hearing from Ravens fans is, Marvin Lewis never should have been fired in Cincinnati. He made the playoffs 5 years in a row, never won a playoff game. But hey, what does it matter? Things have been generally good, right? At some point, you have to expect more from your team.
Yes. So, great point. And shout out to Ellie. Thank you for joining the live stream. Says, what about Calvin Ridley, who's asking for a new start? Yes. And that was the one bad move of Ozzy's last draft, is not drafting Calvin Ridley and drafting Hayden Hurst. Right? This isn't hindsight. This is not hindsight. We needed wide receiver help then. Because I was campaigning for Calvin Ridley and DJ Moore, and we had a chance to get Calvin Ridley, passed up on Calvin Ridley. In fact, I think we traded back and then drafted Hayden Hurst. But yes, Calvin Ridley is absolutely somebody we could go after. I like that move. Okay, so there you go. That'd be a great response. Don Vassell says, "What's up, bros? Glad the season's over." Listen, I'll tell you this. I did not want to go in that first round and get stomped out by the Chiefs. I did not want to see that happen. Okay. Danny says, "I'm about to tweet that Harbaugh is not what you think he is." Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. The Harbaugh protectors were going hard at us last week for saying he can't elevate this team. And I'm just saying 6 losses in a row. Is that elevation? That doesn't seem like elevation to me. I don't know what the word elevation means to you. That's not elevation. Almost winning, losing by 1 point, losing by 2 points, those are excuses, right? Winners don't make excuses.
Right.
And we got a donation from Adam.
No, Addie M.
Oh, Addie M. Shout out to Addie M. Okay. Says, "We get the Greg Roman unemployed masterclass tomorrow."
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that.
I don't think he'll get fired that quickly. I think they're going to hold on to him for a while, but hopefully they get rid of him. And the Broncos didn't even wait till the season was over to fire their coach. Yeah. So
I should also,
there's always hope.
I should also point out, since Addie M had made that donation, we don't do super chats on this channel, right? But if you want to highlight a comment, just like what you saw from Addie M, there are 2 ways you can do it. Hit that pinned comment that you see. That'll take you to our Streamlabs. You can leave a donation there. Also, hit up a Cash App right below B, $LBHT show. All right. Either way, you just leave a donation, leave your comment, and you will get a little message on the screen there, and we'll read it. All right. And we appreciate your support. Kimberly says, "I love your second channel, Old Man Gaming." Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. We're coming back. Listen. There has been an internal struggle as to what we should do with this channel, but we're coming back. Okay, keep the faith. Listen, if you want to see, and shout out to Deshaun. I saw your comment earlier, Deshaun. I meant to read it, but Deshaun is on the channel too. We're doing Fear Street reviews. Part 1 and 2 is up. Part 3 is coming. Part 3 is coming. It's coming. All right. Wow. I'm sorry, Deshaun. I failed you on that. He did a great job on that. In fact, I'm reading Deshaun's comment right now. He says EDC should be fired based on the fact that he didn't draft a single tackle last year. Yes.
Listen. I'm not on the fire EDC train yet, but that is damning.
Yes. He also says,
he says,
and the only ones he's brought in either couldn't play or were horrible. Villanueva and James. Yeah. I mean, he was hurt. Yeah.
But also, congrats to Deshaun. He won our inaugural fantasy football championship.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sending out that belt early this coming week. And congrats to Caleb as well.
Yes,
KD squad. He made it to the championship. He fell a little bit short, but he had a great season.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. Like I said, we'll be sending that out pretty soon, no matter how bittersweet that is for me.
Shout out to you guys, congrats. Man. Deshaun, and post a picture, man. We'll put it on our website. Champion Deshaun. Okay, we gotta start calling you. We gotta start calling you Champ.
I'm not calling
Champ.
You that.
My bad, Champ. I didn't mean disrespect
that. I already said congrats. That's it. That's what you get.
Hold on, let me refresh this thing here. Let me refresh this because you guys' comments, I see them, but I'm not able to bring them up. Let me connect this. We're getting an error. Hold on. Don't worry. You keep the comments coming. We'll fix this.
And we did get another Cash App. Thank you very much from Justin P.
Thank you, Justin.
It says, for excellent content, and the staff need a change. Yes.
Shout out to you. Appreciate that. All right, here we go. Just Allo, what's up, Just Allo? He says, "Hello, everyone. I'm sure this has been made, but this point has been made. But how y'all liking Huntley now? Pay Lamar."
I mean, listen, we tried to tell y'all that Huntley is a bad quarterback right now,
He's a
and
backup.
could develop. He
He's a
could
backup,
develop into a decent player. He could develop into a starter, but he's not that now. He's a bad quarterback right now. Nobody's going to give you a second round pick for Tyler Huntley, who they all hated in the draft. Nobody's going to give you, is going to swoop in and try to, snatch him up from Baltimore. He's a bad player right now. And with bad players, the more they play, the more you see it.
Yeah.
You can kind of hide them in small spots, in small samples, but the more they play, the more it comes out.
Yeah. Raven Ron wants to know, and shout out to Raven Ron. He wants to know, fire Wink, fire everyone. Like, okay. I'm not calling. First of all, I'm not calling any of these coaches bad, except for Greg Roman. I think he's a bad coordinator, right? But if we get rid of Wink, what damage is done? Like, what harm is done to our defense? We're not good right now, and we weren't good before the injuries piled up. So, what harm is there in losing Wink? You think we can't replace Wink? You think we can't replace Greg Roman? Like, Greg Roman is not a complete coordinator. Like, he's meant to be a position coach, if we're being real about it.
He's not even a good running game coordinator at this point. Like, he can't do anything with the offense.
No. So no, I mean they can all go. Like, they're not doing anything to, like I said, they cannot elevate this team. And that's the other half of what I said too. I said Harbaugh can't elevate this team, and he can't find people who can, right? Because that's part of being a good head coach too. It's not, you don't have to have all the answers, but you got to know who to bring in to get those answers.
Yeah, and listen, Tyler Huntley being a bad quarterback is no reason for Baltimore to have missed the playoffs.
Nope.
It's not. We're just a couple years removed from the Philadelphia Eagles winning a Super Bowl with a terrible quarterback in Nick Foles,
who was a Super Bowl MVP.
Wentz, after Carson Wentz went down. Like, if you had a good coaching staff, and you can work around it. And nobody's asking Baltimore to win a Super Bowl without Lamar. Nobody's saying run the table in the second half of the season. They dropped 6 in a row. You have to get one.
We might have to put.
You got to get one.
We got to put Doug Peterson on our possible list of coaching replacements.
Yeah,
we got to put him on there. He took a year off, and he's got to be considered. Okay, he's got to be considered. Addy, Addy M. Addy, yes. I just figured it out. Addy M. He says it better happen tomorrow.
It better happen hopefully, but I'm not. I don't think so. If I had to guess, I would say no, but hopefully.
John Hazeb Ali, what's up, man? Says fire EDC. I see it, man. I see it. EDC can't draft. I see you. Look at the Chiefs, man. He's hot, man. He's ready. He's like, tomorrow. He's like Addy. Tomorrow it needs to go down. Okay. Oh, here goes OTR Mike. He says, join the champs corner, Deshaun. Welcome. Okay. Because yes, OTR Mike, he won our Survivor League, so he's also a champion. He's gonna be getting a trophy as well.
That's on its way.
So if you're new and you
I hope it arrives broken again.
See,
but that's neither here nor there.
Wow. If you're new and you don't know what we're discussing, so if you join our Patreon, you look right below me, patreon.com/LBHT show. We started a fantasy football league this year and a Survivor League. And the winner of those leagues, they get either a trophy or they get a championship belt. And they're in really nice prizes. We like to do fun things like that for our patrons.
You might think I sound like petty or just real upset right now. And you're right. I am. Because you know why? In our Pick'em League, our Survivor League, you know how I got out? You know how I lost? I picked the number one seed in the AFC against one of the worst teams in the league, the New York Jets, and I lost.
Yes, I did too.
I am very upset.
We both went out in the same week. I was like, oh, can't miss here. I was thinking, I was like, yo, I'm not going to pick the Titans much this year because they look terrible that first week. I was like, okay, I'm not going to pick them often, but they'll beat the Jets. Yeah. Nope. And then they kept on winning after that. So the NFL has not been kind to me this year. King of Pugo says Lamar shouldn't re-sign till major coaching changes are made. Isn't that what we said this past offseason? I said I wouldn't. If I'm Lamar, I'm not signing until I see them make a real commitment towards him on the offensive side of the ball. Stop spending all your money on the defense. Stop spending all your top draft picks on the defense. I need you to make sure you get me your O-line. I need you to make sure that you get me weapons. And all we ever hear from this fan base, from writers, just Ravens flock in general, are reasons why we shouldn't go after somebody. Oh, we don't have the money. Oh, we can't pick that player that high. Oh, this player will be, he'll be a distraction. It's always those things on the offensive side of the ball, but we'll spend the money on the defense, and then they come in and they don't live up to the hype, or it's just not enough, right? Because
you know what you heard earlier today on Twitter, when Hollywood was dropping passes, and even Tylen Wallace was dropping passes. Hearing, oh man, James Prochet would have caught that. James Prochet would have caught that touchdown.
I did hear that.
James Prochet of the 0 career touchdowns. No, you know who would have caught it? T. Higgins, who we told y'all to draft instead of Patrick Queen. He would have caught it. James Prochet would have done the exact same thing your other receivers did.
I'm gonna tell you who would have caught it, and it's gonna be a hot take, but I'm gonna tell you who would have caught it. AB would have caught that. AB would have caught that. I understand people are looking at what's going on with AB, and we need to talk about that too, by the way, while we're here. We need to talk about that. But I know everybody's looking at what's going on with Tampa Bay and saying, see, sure glad that they didn't bring that over here. He won a Super Bowl with these guys.
Yeah.
It worked out. So what if it fell apart in the end? Things always 100% of the time falls apart in the end, right? Mm-hmm. One way or another. Whether it's that way where he makes a spectacle, or they just fall off. They just can't play anymore, right? It always falls apart in the end. Who cares? Who cares? I want, as long as he's getting us results now, which he can still produce, take the risk. There's no risk there. Tampa Bay knew exactly what they were getting. They just got tired of dealing with it, and they just got rid of him. So what?
That blow up on the sideline didn't even distract them while it was happening.
Right.
So I don't want to hear anything about distractions.
Yeah.
Like they came back and won that game.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares about that kind of stuff. They make a big deal about it in the media. They don't actually care.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to my man Sterling. He says, I ain't got nothing to say, Jose. Tomorrow is a comfort food day. We going? Well, is it a meatball sub day tomorrow? Let me know. Okay. Just Alice says Justin Houston had 5 games to get 1 sack and couldn't do it. Listen, shout out to Living Legend. Living Legend is not here. We had a bet going on. This is another thing. If you guys don't know, we're keeping count. We're keeping a Justin Houston sack count throughout the season because we had a bet with our guy Living Legend that if Justin Houston got 7 sacks this season, right? Because we didn't think Justin Houston was going to get that many. But if he got 7 sacks, we will let him get something from our merch store. And he doesn't have that. Okay. He has 4.5 sacks, and we credited him with 2 sacks because there were 2 games we were like, man, he should have had that sack, right? Like one got called back on penalty, another one, I can't remember what happened. And we're like, you know what?
He didn't get the sack.
He didn't get the sack, but we said, you know what? We will count it for our purposes. We'll count it as sacks. So by our count, our unofficial or our official LBHT count, he has 6.5 sacks. But we said, listen, no more credit. You got to get that. You got to get that last sack on your own. And he didn't do it. But because we love you guys, we love the LBHT crew. We gonna hook our man Living Legend up with something. All right. So Living Legend.
The next time he shows up.
Yes, Living Legend, man. We're gonna reach out to you, and we're gonna work something out, man. We're gonna give Living Legend something because look. It ain't his fault that Justin Houston can't get it done. Okay, it ain't his fault. All right, and it ain't our fault. Look, we wanted to prove a point. Like when we say things, it ain't out of hate, right? Yeah. And the funny thing is, when we did that video on Justin Houston, we weren't hating at all. We said that was a good signing. We like the move. And, he'll be a good rotational player. He'll come in, he's not what he used to be. He'll come in and give about 5 or 6 sacks.
And Ravens flock rained down fire and brimstone on us. They couldn't believe it. But also, I do want to mention as well, because a lot of people called us haters for talking about Oweh and what he was going to do this season and how it was a wasted pick. All I'm going to say is go back to the beginning of the year and check out that video when we were making our predictions on what Oweh was going to do this season, and then check his stats at the end of the year and see what they say.
So Oweh didn't play this last game. He got hurt. Let me ask you now that our season's over with, and Oweh did fine. I think he did. He exceeded my expectations as a rookie because I thought he was a raw talent. I think he had a pretty good year for a rookie. But let me ask you: would you rather had Oweh, or would you rather had Orlando Brown or Tevin Jenkins? I know Tevin Jenkins was hurt for a good chunk of the year, but he came back. Would you rather have had a right tackle? Essentially, is what I'm saying. Would you rather have that or a right tackle? I'm just curious, right? And shout out to our O-line for not giving T.J. Watt the record, right? They tried. He
got the record.
No, he didn't.
He tied it.
He tied it. He didn't break the record.
I mean, yeah, but yeah. He has the record now.
Yeah. So. He's tied. Look, Michael Strahan's still the record holder in my opinion. Okay, I'm never acknowledging T.J. Watt.
Michael Strahan isn't even the record holder in reality anyway.
Listen,
because first of all, Michael Strahan was gifted the sack by Brett Favre, but second, it was a guy named Al Baker who actually had more sacks than that. But it was like 2 or 3 years before they made it official. Actually counting sacks.
Listen. I will never acknowledge a Steeler ever. Sauce 730 just subscribe. Appreciate you, Sauce. You know what?
Thank you.
I just learned something new here. I didn't know that those notifications came up automatically. Shout out to Head Man for the $5 tip. He says for Living Legend. Shout out to you, Living Legend. See. LBHT crew, man, look, this is it's all love, and that $5 is gonna go towards hooking Living Legend up for sure, man.
No, it's not. Because your boy, like you said, your boy Peachy's already got that covered with his Giants missing the playoffs 3 years in a row.
OTR Brandon. Listen, our guy OTR Mike is in the chat. He's part of the Off the Record podcast. Make sure you subscribe to them as well. He does a podcast with 3 of our other brothers. Okay. OTR Brandon, OTR Quan, and Alex. All right. OTR Brandon is a Giants fan, and we had a bet a while back, 3 years now, in fact, that I bet him 3 years from that date, the Giants would not make the playoffs. And of course, you have to take it if you're a fan, right? You're going to say, look, I'm not going to say my team isn't going to make it for 3 straight seasons. Well, this is season 3, and unfortunately, they did not make it. So OTR Brandon will also be contributing to Living Legends' new merch. Okay, so shout out to you. Raven Ron says Oweh didn't play the last 2 games.
Oh no.
Okay, no, but no, he followed it up. He said I wanted a right tackle. There you go. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. What would you rather have?
Raven Ron. Suge is looking for you, man. So you might want to make yourself scarce at the OT this week because Suge was not happy.
Agent E says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Keenan Ricketts? I see you in here, man. Shout out to you." He says, "Get AB." I wouldn't say get AB now. All right. But I'll tell you what. If he heals up and he wants to play next year, well, no, consider it. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. He also says Terrell Owens had outbursts too. He's a Hall of Fame. AB is still talented. We could use him right now. Yeah, look, AB has a lot of things he got to work out this offseason. One, he has to get better, and then he's got to decide: does he want to play football? Right? Does he want to play football? I'll say this: I don't know if he'll have the same type of issues here in Baltimore that he would have over there in Tampa, right? He's playing with a coach that openly did not want him there. He had issues with that coach in Pittsburgh, right? So I don't know, like, if he'd have same issues coming here, his cousin's playing here, good friends with Lamar, right? Harbaugh, who's supposed to be this great motivator and great elevator and leader of men. I don't know if he, I would think that he should be able to handle AB, but apparently not. I don't know. Josh Hoffman, what's up, my friend? He says Bateman brought in to play the first half. Queen is so much better. Once we started having developmental players' expectations in Hollywood, if Andrews does us like that, it's a riot. Let's see. Being brought in to play the first half. Queen is so much better. I'm not sure what you're saying there. I'm not sure. Queen is so much better now, you mean? Yeah, he's playing a lot better now. Yeah. But I wasn't worried about Patrick Queen. All right.
Yeah, and if you're saying Queen is so much better now in reference to me saying, go get T. Higgins. T. Higgins has been good from day one.
Well, that's yes, no, yeah. There's no question. If you're trying to compare Patrick Queen to T. Higgins, no, give me T. Higgins all day. Listen, it's don't fall for the narrative of best player available. That's nonsense, right? Get the best player available at your need. And right now, because the best player for our team is the quarterback by far, and we need to support that quarterback. So if you're in a situation in the draft, especially in the draft, if you're in a situation where you have this great talent on defense, but a good talent on offense, you go for the good talent on offense because that's what's going to help Lamar, right? Patrick Queen can't block for Lamar. Patrick Queen can't catch for Lamar, right? Yeah. And then you go and get Patrick Queen. You put on these unrealistic expectations on him because the first half of the season we were saying cut Patrick Queen. He looks terrible, right? Mm-hmm. Now he's playing much better, and we're happy about it. But either way, it's not doing anything for the offense, right? So when you talk about getting what's his name, Sauce Gardner, what's that going to do for the offense? Right, the offense is why we're out of the playoffs right now.
Forget that. What's that going to do for the defense? It's not going to do anything for the defense.
Yeah,
like they had the deepest secondary in the league this year, and they were the worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah,
before Marlon Humphrey got hurt, before Deshaun Elliott got hurt. Like, I don't know when Baltimore is going to understand that. That's not what you're not going to get those old school Ravens defenses anymore in the NFL. You're just not.
No. Ooh, Sterling says meatball sub, jerk chicken, or is it gyros? Gyros. He says, take your pick. Oh, I will think about this, my friend. I will think about that. Real quick, again, if you're 63 people in here, hit that like. And if you're new, man, help us out. Subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We trying to get there this year. All right. And also, if you're into boxing, check out Ring Kings Podcast. That's our other channel, all right, that we do with our man from Off the Record Podcast, Mikey, all right? We just started that one up. But, yes, subscribe. And if you're looking for a super chat, we don't do super chat. We ain't going to do super chat, okay? If you want to highlight a comment, there are two ways you can do it. That pinned comment that you see in the chat, that will take you to our Streamlabs. And also right below $LBHT show. Those are two ways you can go and donate, leave a comment, and we'll read it on air. There'll be a nice little animation right above us. All right. So let's read some more comments here. John Hazeb Ali says, "Go Panthers." You guys up right now?
They were last time I looked. They were up 7-3. But yeah, since he mentioned the Panthers, we can talk about them real quick. I mean, the outcome of the game is.
Let me read a couple comments real quick. Okay. Let me read, just because there's some new people in here I want to give a shout out to. Imagine Bull 17 says, Ravens way, he has it in quotation marks, is just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's insanity, not consistency. We need to stop pretending like refusing to adapt is admirable. #fire Greg. That's an excellent point, man. I love that comment.
Yes, it is.
I love it. P. Brownie, what's up, man? He says, who should they take with their first 2 draft picks? I'll tell you what they should take. Offensive line and more offensive line. The best tackle we can get. I know some people don't like the thought of drafting a right tackle in the first round, but why? Because edge rushers go on both sides. Top edge rushers go on both sides. You have to be able to protect on each side.
Because if you're going to say that you shouldn't draft a right tackle in the first round, then you also need to say that you only need to focus on getting one edge rusher. If you think you need 2 edge rushers, then you also need a right tackle.
Yeah.
because everybody else is saying, "Hey, I need 2 edge rushers also." Right?
Yeah. And shout out to Village Idiot says Ravens will never get AB. Proprietary seems way more important than winning.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this. No, this organization isn't going to do it. There's a lot of things that we know this organization isn't going to do, but we're still gonna say those things, right? We can say, oh, that's never going to happen. Cool. But that doesn't mean we just co-sign with what they're doing. No, we're gonna tell you how we feel about it all the time,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of things they're not gonna do. They're not gonna invest in the offense. They've shown you that, but we're still gonna say hashtag defund the defense. If you're new here and you don't know, hashtag defund the defense is something we started, and that just says stop spending all your high resources on the defense and start investing it in the offense. That's all we're
Because
saying.
again, like I said, the everything around the quarterback or everything on your team is an accessory to your quarterback.
Yeah,
Because the quarterback is how you win. I mean, you can win without a quarterback. I mean, obviously the Eagles did, the Broncos did with Peyton Manning, but the way that you become a perennial contender is by having that franchise quarterback as the cornerstone of your team.
yeah,
And when you have that, everything else is an accessory to that player, and you need to build the team accordingly.
yeah.
You build the offensive line around them, you get them skill position players, and then you build a defense that can keep a lead and shut the door on the other team.
Yep. All right, one more comment, and then let's talk some Panthers for a little bit, and then we'll go back to. Well, we want to talk a couple of things in here, but yes, let me read this. It's from Cornell Russ. Thank you for joining the live stream. Cornell says, please list the preferences for replacement coaches. I'd prefer Eric Bieniemy head coach. And to your point, Jose, the fans have been brainwashed. They believe every word uttered by this coaching staff. So yeah, so we always do the caveat of it ain't our job to find a replacement. That's Eric DeCosta's job, right?
Yes.
Like the job of the organization is to put this team in the best position to win, right? And like Imagine Bull said, we've been stagnant. We just consistently doing the same thing, hoping that it's gonna get same results. So I want to start with that. It's not really our job to do it. But if you want us to give some names, you said one right there, Eric Bieniemy. There are 2 coaches over in Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich, that I will look at. Now, I know some people look at Todd Bowles and say, well, he's a failed head coach. I don't think he failed with the Jets. I think he had them on the right path to winning. And then when they drafted Sam Darnold, that organization thought, okay, we're gonna get a different face for this for this team, because they thought they had their guy now, and they brought in what's his name, Adam
Gase.
Adam Gase, and Adam Gase completely just did apart what Todd Bowles was building up there. So I still like Todd Bowles for a head coach. Also,
I wouldn't go Todd Bowles just because I think their next hire does need to be an offensive minded head coach.
right.
Otherwise, but I do think Todd deserves another shot, and I think he'll do well, if he gets another shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eric Bieniemy. We just mentioned the other guy a little while ago, Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
If he's ready to come back. But obviously he's coming back to a head coaching role, and Baltimore's head coaching job is not going to be open.
Right. So, and we got a donation here. Shout out to Anonymous. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
Says, will Coach Roman be fired now or tonight? So I guess we agree that it's happening. And I'm not sure if I read this earlier, but Sauce 730 disubscribed. Not sure if that came up on the thing, but if I didn't hit it, but I'm hitting the notification again. Thank you for subscribing. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Roman, I think that they're going to give it a little bit of time, and I think that's probably just out of respect to Greg, and the fact that him and Harbaugh are friends, and you don't want to like it sends a bad message when you fire a coach immediately after a season. Like, man, can't wait to get this dude out of here. And I don't think they want to do that to Greg Roman. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think they'll take a little time before they move on from him.
Yeah.
All right. And it'll be a mutual parting of ways. It won't be he got fired. And that's fine.
All right, guys, keep your comments coming. we discuss Ravens and Panthers on this stream. I'm a Ravens fan. B's a Panthers fan. So we like to cover both on this channel. So we're going to discuss a little. Panthers are playing right now.
Yeah, they're playing right now. They're winning. They're up 7-3 against the Tampa Bay team that doesn't really have anything to play for. Whatever. The only news about Carolina is everyone reporting that Matt Rule is coming back. It's being reported by ESPN. It's being reported by The Athletic. All the former beat writers for Carolina. And today, it came out that they're going to be targeting 3 names for offensive coordinator because they fired Joe Brady. They're looking at Kevin O'Connell, who is the OC for the Rams. The Chargers tried to hire him last year to be their offensive coordinator, and they blocked it because it was a lateral move, so they're allowed to do that. So I don't imagine that they're willing to let him walk at this point, right? But they're also looking at Bill O'Brien, who has most recently been coaching with Alabama in college, and also Jay Gruden, who I don't believe is coaching anywhere right now, but he was the former head coach of Washington, and he was an offensive coordinator in Cincinnati the same time that Hugh Jackson was there. And, those names are not exciting. And if I thought that Carolina was looking to compete next year, I'd be very upset by those names. But I think it's lining up with what I thought was going to happen. The reason that Matt Rule is coming back is because it's a very unattractive job right now. They already opted in to Sam Darnold for next year. They owe him $18 million fully guaranteed. They can't get out of that. They only have their first round pick, essentially. They don't have a second. They don't have a third. And you don't have an O-line still. And like I said, you're stuck with Sam. And there's not really a good path to bring in competition unless you're using that first pick on a quarterback, which hurts your ability to rebuild the line. So I think that the Panthers are looking at it and saying, you know what, Matt Rule made this mess, and he's going to have to lay in it, and then next year we'll reset and look to get our new coach. And I thought that the one caveat to that is that because Jose mentioned that that's not a good way to have fans be happy.
Nope.
It's going to kill the morale for the fan base. But if you fire him mid-season, that gives the fans a little boost. And now if you hire one of those guys, you have a built-in, interim head coach to finish out the season for you. And then you can, go and look for your new head coach, possibly with the number 1 overall pick the following year. So I think that's kind of the road that's going down. They're going to let Matt Rule fall on his face again for, 5-6 weeks. Then they'll fire him. And then O'Brien or Gruden will take over for the rest of the year. They'll be terrible. They'll be out, and they'll go and hire a new coach. They'll have a new quarterback, and hopefully they'll have at least a competent O-line at that point.
Look, people feel very strong. Look, there's a lot of Ravens fans in here, and this is kind of a Ravens post-game stream. But there's some strong feelings about Matt Rule in these comments, boy. Sylvester Burton, thanks for joining the live stream, says clean house, stupidest coaching in the league. Danity says Bill O'Brien. Ew.
Yeah, a little bit of ew, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Let's see here. I saw Hendo said he had mentioned Todd Bowles, and we got another donation from Anonymous. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes.
Says, where is Cam? Is he active today? Look, man.
I believe he is, but they're finishing it out with Sam Darnold.
Yeah. So. Listen. I don't like the way that they're doing things. I really dislike Matt Rule. Right? Like, I think there are ways that you can sabotage quarterbacks, right? And we've seen it throughout out the years when a coach isn't really behind a quarterback. The play calling is just a little different. They're not really calling plays to help pick up that quarterback. And they're just not behind them. And when a quarterback looks bad, they put in the person that they want, and the play calling just gets completely dumbed down. They're doing safe passes, and it looks like the offense is more efficient with that other quarterback.
Well, and the rules are different, right? Because he had said publicly that the reason that he was pulling Cam was because he's turning the ball over, a couple times a game, and you can't do that. Mm-hmm. And Sam Darnold turned the ball over a couple times last week, and Sam Darnold is right back out there.
Yeah, and the reason why you had to get Cam to begin with because he turned the ball over a whole lot before that. a whole lot. And you know, Cam, maybe he's done, maybe not. I don't know. It's not looking good. But we also know Sam Darnold just never had it. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, look, Cam hasn't been playing well this season, but he's been playing better than Darnold.
yeah.
So it is just down to Matt Rule didn't want him there, and he tried to embarrass him a little bit, and now he's going back to his guy. I don't think Cam will be back. Excuse me. I think this is essentially it for Cam. I don't think we'll see him in the NFL again, which is unfortunate. But I'm glad he went out as a Panther if this is it. But one thing I do know is that once Carolina fires Matt Rule, we will definitely not see him again in the NFL.
Oh yeah, he's toast. He's toast. What's up, Click One? Click One says, "What's good, guys? All I gotta say is when you are 7-4 with Lamar and 1-5 without him, clean the damn house. New OC, DC, HC. How do you lose 5 straight without Lamar? That's disgusting."
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Hey, look. Okay. Shout out to Appalachian Enthusiast. It looks like he's a Steelers fan. It says, "Let's get Ben his final ring." Hey man, look. Look. I think
that's
so.
That's gonna be a rough one.
That's going. Yeah, you gotta play Kansas City in that first round. They did to you guys a couple weeks ago, but you're in. You're in.
Not yet.
Not yet. But you're gonna be in. You're gonna be in. Congratulations, man! You won the game. The better team won. Better coaching won. And it is what it is. Okay, I still hate you guys.
I cannot believe that the Colts were the 6th seed, and all they had to do was not fall on their face to the worst team in the league, and now they're out of the playoffs. They're eliminated.
Carson Wentz said, "Say less."
And their first round pick is going to playoff team Philadelphia.
Shout out to Matt Williams. He says, "Yo, working at the hospital." Shout out to you, Matt. He says, "What's up, LBHT, man? What's up with you, man? Stay safe out there. Make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure those patients are wearing their masks. All right, protect yourself." And speaking of protecting yourself, just Aloe says the CDC now recommends that Baltimore Ravens fire Greg Roman. Dr. Fauci agrees.
Wow.
Hey man,
I'm not feeling Gregory today.
Listen, Panthers fans are not happy about the news of Matt Rule staying, but if Greg Roman stays, those will be some harsh feelings here in Baltimore, and that's what I'm saying. If Greg Roman stays, Harbaugh understands exactly what's going on, and he will be on the hot seat, whether they say it or not. That's guaranteed. If he keeps Greg Roman, he's guaranteed to be on the hot seat. Mm-hmm. He can't have another season like he had, and injuries will not save him. So Kimberly says, "I think Cam's going to retire." A lot of people think that he might. Yeah. He might, or he'll look to see. What I think is he'll look to see if he gets any phone calls, take a look at his opportunities, and if there's nothing really there for him, then he'll go ahead and retire. But I don't think he retires immediately. I think he'll keep his options open one last time because Cam doesn't want to go out like the way he's looking right now. And I think he's better than what he was able to show with Carolina on his return to Carolina. I think he thought he was going to get a real fair shot, and he see how Matt Rule is operating, and and Matt Rule is just real smug about everything. So I think he'll look to see if he can.
But when you've been on top of the game as long as Matt Rule, when you got generations of coaches looking up to you as the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
You do what you want. You say what you want. You carry it how you want.
Yeah. Just how it says, really 7-3 with Lamar. He only played part of the first quarter of that Cleveland game. Yeah.
But that's not how the records go, so it's fine.
Yeah. So, look, you guys see the ticket, man. We missed the playoffs for the 5th time in 9 years. Okay. We missed the playoff more times than we've made it in the last 9 years. And that is why we're saying get rid of Harbaugh, right? A lot of people are looking at it saying, "Oh, he had one bad year and everybody's ready to jump on him." No, it's because he hasn't had that many good years since the Super Bowl.
Baltimore has done a very good. We talk about this in professional sports in general. These leagues do a great job of convincing fans that you have to be loyal, even though it's just a product.
Mm-hmm.
And in no other industry do you have to be loyal to a bad product outside of professional sports,
Right.
right? But they do a great job of convincing everybody that, and everybody buys in, and it's fun and all that. But Baltimore, they've done a great job also, convincing everyone that they've been such a great organization. And the results just haven't been there on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really haven't.
So, I mean, like I said, like I know people get a little sketchy because you're used to seeing Harbaugh and we've had some good years with Lamar, but people are giving Harbaugh credit for what Lamar is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not Harbaugh. People are giving Eric DeCosta credit for what Ozzie did. That ain't DeCosta. And I'm not one of those fire Eric DeCosta guys, right? All I'm saying is don't put him on a level of Ozzie, right? Ozzie, everything that you love about this team right now, Ozzie did that. Everything, right? You love Lamar, that's Ozzie. You love Andrews, that's Ozzie, right? I mean, there's nobody left on the O line, but I mean, if you some of you like Bradley Bozeman, I'm not a big fan of Bradley Bozeman, but that was Ozzie, huh?
Ronnie's there.
Yeah, Ronnie Stanley. Yes, Ronnie Stanley. Yeah, he was out this year, but Ronnie Stanley, that's Ozzie. So like everything that you love about this team, that's still Ozzie's footprint on it, and that's the other thing, right? So Eric DeCosta has had a lot of players drafted. He's got 11 picks coming up in this draft. At what point do they need to start showing something? I mean, Bradley Bozeman, he needs to get paid this offseason. I hope we don't pay him. We better not pay him. I don't think he's been good enough to really pay him. We need to find somebody better. Hold on. Let me read a couple comments. Zaul Martinez says Ravens have to come back with a better defense and O-line. They need to come back with switch it around. Better O-line, better wide receiving core, better coaching, and better defense. Okay, defense is fourth in that part.
And the defense will take care of itself with better coaching. They have the talent on defense already.
Yeah. I don't think there's really anything wrong talent-wise with the defense. I think the first thing that they need to do is take a communications class. That's what they need to do, because every week it looks like a little miscommunication there. That's what happened on that play. They gave up that huge touchdown, just miscommunication. Right. So
now I will say they need to pay a little attention to the defensive line, like their interior linemen. But outside of that, you've got Tyus Bowser, who, really stepped up this year. I mean, I know he only had like the 5.5 or 6 sacks or whatever it was, but I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah.
You got Owe, who everybody loves. You just drafted Dalen Hayes. So yeah, I mean, you might need some depth there, but they've got their edge rushers. They got Patrick Queen. They got, we'll see on Malik Harrison, but they've got Josh Bynes there. LJ Ford's coming back. But the point is they have Patrick Queen in the middle.
Yeah.
You've got Humphrey and Peters on the outside. You got Chuck Clark, at safety. You've got, what's his name? The other safety.
Brandon Stevens.
Deshaun
Elliott.
Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. I think he should be back. But even if he's not, like you said, they have Brandon Stevens, who they just drafted in the 3rd round. So like they've got their defense. They need to fill in the depth at a couple of spots, but I don't think it's a major issue.
Yeah.
Their issue this year was more mental than anything else.
Yeah.
The O-line's issue is physical.
Yes.
Very physical.
Well, but that's coaching as well, because not knowing your assignments, the false starts, the illegal shifts, right? Like a lot of times they just don't know where they're going. That's coaching. But yes, yes.
It is, but those guys can't play.
Yeah, well, yes.
They can't play. They need to replace those. They need to upgrade talent on the O-line.
And shout out to Tanja Bowman. Shout out to you coming through, man. Appreciate you coming through. She says, hey, Jose and Brodny, Harbaugh called out the coaching again, but will get rid of Roman. But will he get rid of Roman? EDC and Harbaugh should be held accountable. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. You can't shower all this praise on the coach and then say, man, we gotta get rid of Roman. Man, what was Wink doing on that play? Like, they're a reflection of the head coach.
And you can't shower praise on a head coach who just lost 6 games in a row.
Nope.
Like, I don't care what the reason is. You lost 6 games in a row.
Right. Exactly. Jonathan Washington Jr. Shout out to
good,
you.
no matter what.
No matter. Yeah. No matter why you lost, you lost. Like I said, when you win, you don't need excuses.
Yeah.
Jonathan Washington Jr. says, Jose, why exactly do Ravens fans have so much confidence in Juwan James being right tackle of the future when he hasn't played in nearly 3 years? Don't overthink this prioritize O-line. Yeah, because, like a lot of people just they buy into whatever the organization does, and they think any move that they make is the right move. And very few people are afraid to say, I don't agree with that move. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So what? Right? Yeah. Like it's just opinions. But a lot of people will just ride with whatever the organization says instead of saying, I don't like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why would you do that?
Also, I think a lot of people in Ravens flock, and this goes for other fan bases as well, but I think a lot of people like being the underdog. They like rooting for the underdog. It's the same reason why everybody gets so irrationally upset when James Prochet doesn't play. About he works so hard and he deserves it. He doesn't deserve it. He's not good enough.
Yeah,
that's it. You want James Prochet to be that guy because he was a 6th round pick, and then you can be like, hey, yeah, see, we don't need to draft a wide receiver high. We don't need to pay for more talent.
That's what it is.
Guy. And listen, man, it's not true. Like every now and then you'll hit on players like that, but it's not James Prochet. It's not happening.
Here's a cold hard truth, right? Here's a cold hard truth. And again, I used to think this way, right? Because it seemed like for a while we could do no wrong. It seemed like, man, we can get guys in the 5th round and they can be, they can be Pro Bowlers. That's what it felt like. But that's not the reality. The reality is this, right? Us as Ravens fans think that we can always, draft more draft picks gives us better opportunities to get better talent or guys that can help out this team and this organization. We get right player, right price, and we don't overspend. And teams that overspend, it never works out for them. And the way we do it, we end up winning more than often, or more times than not, and all the stuff. And that our scouting, our coaching is among the best in the league, and we can always above. Yeah, it's a cut above, and we can always find those guys that other people can't find. The reality is we are no better than anybody else. Yeah. When it comes to that stuff, we are no better than anybody else. We are not seeing things that other teams aren't seeing. In fact, what's starting to happen now is those teams are starting to see more than what we're seeing because we're getting all these draft picks and we're not getting those right guys. Those hidden gems, we're not, that you see go in the 4th and 5th round that blow up. We're not getting those guys.
And you know what? I will say this. I'm not sure it's that they're not getting them so much as this coaching staff is not equipped to kind of deploy those guys. Yep. Because, I mean, listen, Latavius Murray had a fantastic day today, right? And props to him. He went for like 160 and a touchdown. But he's not a very good running back. He hasn't had a very good season.
Right.
The Steelers are one of the worst run defenses in the league. They had a guy in Tyson Williams who looked at the beginning of the year like, hey, maybe he's got a little bit more talent than Freeman and Bell and Murray. And he fumbled the ball and John Harbaugh banished him.
Yeah.
And listen, James Prochet, right? Everybody loves James Prochet. Again, why isn't he playing? Because John Harbaugh doesn't want him playing. Now, if you believe that James Prochet is that guy, you should be very angry with John Harbaugh not putting him on the field and giving him more opportunities. But they do this a lot with young players. And so, it could very well be that, hey, they have drafted some of those guys.
Yeah.
That would pop. And they're just not getting the opportunity in Baltimore. I think they've held back Tyus Bowser. He's developed over the years and he's a very solid player now, but I think he could be more somewhere else.
Yeah.
They held back Matt Judon production wise. I mean, obviously he is the player, but production wise, he wasn't getting it in Baltimore. You could look at Oweh and make the same argument this year. He ended up with 5 sacks.
Yeah.
You could look at him and say, hey, he should have had more than that, but this coaching staff held him back. So I do think that that's part of why I'm not on the fire EDC thing right now. I think if you get rid of this coaching staff, get rid of Harbaugh, get rid of Roman, get rid of Wink, bring in new coaches with new ideas and new ways of doing things, you might see that you have a better team than you thought.
Maybe,
And
yeah.
they just weren't being they just weren't being properly utilized under the previous regime. Because I think that after John Harbaugh won the Super Bowl, for better or worse, he said, "Hey, my way works, and we're doing it my way."
Yeah,
Period.
yeah, but that's why I feel like there's going to be some pressure on Harbaugh, no matter what they do, right?
I do want to point out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No,
sorry to cut you off, but because I know this is your guy, I do want to point out. They said that when Tyler Huntley threw that terrible pass down the middle of the field to Mark Andrews, and it was like 5 yards too far, and he got intercepted, and Mark Andrews, unfortunately touched him down, and it stayed an interception even though he dropped the ball.
Yeah,
that was Mark Andrews' 6th tackle of the season, and that's more than Jalen Ferguson. I just want to put that out there for you.
That's another one that Harbaugh just doesn't use him properly. Okay, I'm putting it. See, you just brought up another great example of why of why Harbaugh needs to go.
Would be killing it anywhere else.
Look, he might be a lot better, somewhere else, because all I'm saying is Matt Judon is having a career year this year, and last year we said that we don't have edge rushers. Look, in fact, Howard Klein here said he's saying the same thing. Like we need we need pass rushers. So what do you suggest, Howard? Are you saying we need a pass rush, or are you saying we need pass rushers? Right, like those are two different things. You're saying we need pass rushers. We just drafted one. We got another anonymous donation. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you. Do you think Mr. Jackson should re-sign now or 2023? 2023.
I'll say he should resign now, because if he signs a short-term deal, you're not gonna screw Lamar out of the money, right? He's gonna get top money.
Yeah.
So resign now to a short-term deal, and then hit free agency again when you're still pretty young, because he'll be 28 in 3 years, and get that contract a second time before you hit 30.
And I just want to clarify. He said they need a pass rush. He didn't necessarily say that they need pass rushers. They need a pass rush, and that's I agree, but that's on coaching. Well, no. Now he says edge rushers. Okay, we need edge rushers. Well, I mean, all right. Well, who do you think we need to get in here? Because we had 2 edge rushers last year, and we weren't getting a pass rush.
Two guys who had double-digit sacks this year. So we can't say that they aren't talented enough. They let a third guy walk the year before, a couple years before, in Zadarius Smith, who went to Green Bay and has been over double digits every year, except he was hurt this year.
Yeah.
So they've had the talented edge rushers there, and it hasn't translated to a pass rush. Right. So whose fault is that? The guys can play because they've shown you other places.
Yeah.
They've shown you without a doubt that they can play.
Yeah.
So who's it on?
But back to Anonymous' question about Lamar, when he should sign. I always felt like he needs to hold out and let them know, hey, I'm not signing here until you take care of me, right? You take care of this O-line and you give me protection. These are things that Cam Newton never did. He was too low to the team, and he needs to. I always wish he would have had that year where he was like, listen, if you're not gonna put a team around me, trade me, or I'm not resigning, right? Something like that. Do a holdout, like something that Aaron Rodgers is doing. But yes, I would love Lamar to say, hey, I'm still thinking about it. Hey, less people say our guy needs to be protected a little bit more than what's going on, because this is the second year in a row his season ends with him getting hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was nothing that he did. It wasn't him being reckless or running around or anything like that. It both times happened behind the line of scrimmage. Okay. One was a bad snap in the playoffs. He had to go cover the ball, and everybody piled on him. Okay. He got hurt in that game. This time his O-line crumbles. He tries to scramble out of the pocket and throw the ball, and the defender lands on his ankle. But both times it's because the O-line isn't doing their job. So 2 years in a row getting hurt behind the O-line. This year, nah, I need to see what you're going to do with that O-line before I commit. Because if you're going to give me this money,
better not be Juwan James.
No. It better not be Juwan James and Pat McCarry. right? Because that's another thing they like to do. They say, hey, well, we got Pat McCarry here. We just paid him. He's not costing a whole lot. He's good enough.
And listen, man, shout out to Pat McCarry, because I mean, my man came in clutch, because as soon as he signed that, everybody's like, oh man, that's a great signing. He's not too expensive. He's a good right tackle. Von Miller's out here calling him one of the best right tackles in the league. And we were on here saying he better be a backup.
Yeah.
And then he went out the next 2 weeks and showed you he had better be a backup.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shout out to Social Raven. Thank you for joining the live stream. Social Raven says, yes, this season sucked, but guys, third and fourth stringers, no coach could have been able to push through this. Appreciate the comment, man. But no, one, that's not true.
Mike Vrabel literally just did it.
Yes. The Titans are the number 1 seed, and they had just as many injuries as we did, right? So yeah, that's not true. 2, it ain't just about this year. We're not saying if it was just 1 year and we've been consistently good, I wouldn't care, right? I wouldn't care. But 5 out of the last 9 years, we have not been in the playoffs. I know people forget that because we've had some really good years with Lamar Jackson, but 5 out of the last 9 years, we have not made the playoffs.
And the 4 years they did make it, the first time they made it, they won 1 game and then they were out. Mm-hmm. And then they made it 3 straight years with Lamar. They were, out in the first round, and then they beat Tennessee, moved on, and scored 3 points against Buffalo to get knocked out in the second round.
Yeah.
And by the way, again, these are teams who all had top offenses and top defenses.
Yeah.
Going into the playoffs. So, the question is what happened? Do you think that Lamar can't handle the stage?
Yeah.
Or do you think that maybe they have a coaching issue? When they go up against the top teams in the league, their offense doesn't work, and their defense. I mean, the defense got it done in this past postseason, but the offense has been an embarrassment in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Karan Moore-Watkins says right here, the scheme limits the pass rushing. That's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. Kimberly Harmon wants to know, do you think the Ravens players hate Coach Harbaugh?
I think they like him, man. I think he's a player's coach. Yeah. I think that he's a good leader. I think he is a good motivator. I think the Ravens players like him, but
I think the same thing with Andy Reid. Like his shtick is just kind of wearing thin, right? It's the same thing with Andy Reid in Philly. He had a lot of success in Philly, man. 4 straight NFC championships, made it to the Super Bowl, did a whole lot of winning there. And after a while, it just kind of, he wore out his welcome. He wasn't getting through to the players like he used to, and they needed a change. So they fired him. He went to Kansas City, and look, it didn't, they weren't successful right away. They brought in Chip Kelly. Well, Chip Kelly was good that first year, I think.
They won 10 games both years Chip Kelly was there. Or his first 2 years.
Yeah.
His first 2 years.
So they still won. But, they brought in Doug Peterson later on, and they won their Super Bowl, first Super Bowl ever. But obviously Andy Reid has a lot of success in Kansas City, and I think Kansas City, after he went to Kansas City, or after he got fired from Philly, he learned a lot from that fire and made him kind of reassess things a little bit, and he's doing things differently in Kansas City with Pat Mahomes that he didn't do with Donovan McNabb. And right. I'm saying that's what needs to happen with Harbaugh, because I think Harbaugh is just comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. Harbaugh was about to get fired. Lamar comes in, saves his job, and Lamar is just putting the team on his back. And I think him and the coaching staff just put everything in cruise control, including Eric DaCosta. I feel like he kind of feels like, man, Lamar's doing everything, and we don't need to focus that much on the offense because he's got that. We just focus on the defense, right? And that's the wrong mentality to have. Mm-hmm. And what's up, Eric L? He says, greetings, brother, man. Thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate you. Yes. Zaul Martinez says, sometimes been in a place too long, you get stuck. Yes. That's exactly what it is. All right. Village Idiot says, going for 2 instead of an extra point to tie a game, or not taking 3 points and going for it on 4th are coaching decisions, no matter how many times you ask your players, which you shouldn't. Good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Attitude Pop says people keep saying Ravens are a good organization, but they treat players bad and unfair. Nah, that's not true. Attitude Pop, and don't maximize players' talents, and
I
even
mean,
some of the players
it
be
is.
taking shots at the coaching staff. It's, example Lamar. Yes, they look. Yes, but no matter how good of organizations you have, you're gonna have disgruntled players. You're gonna have disagreements.
Yeah, when you screw them. When you screw players, they are going to be disgruntled.
But there have been a ton of criticism for Greg Roman, not just from players, but we had a former coach here that questioned the play calling. So that's been a consistent these last couple of years. So yeah, it's definitely time for Greg Roman to go. Everybody knows that. I expect him to be gone. If he stays, whew, man, you like Harbaugh's
That'd be
being
great
bold.
for us.
Yes, that would be bold. That would be bold. And I'll say this. I don't know if you guys remember how Harbaugh came to be our head coach, because much like Matt Rule right now, reports are saying Matt Rule is safe and he's going to be our coach. That was the same for Brian Billick at the time. Brian, we missed the playoffs. We were going into our last week of the season, and Bisciotti, I think that was his first year. He took over as the majority owner, and he has said he's going to keep Brian Billick. Brian Billick was coming back, and people wanted Brian Billick out of here, gone. He kept Kyle Bowler around, despite Kyle Bowler being like that man didn't know left from right. He was awful. And he's like, no, we're going to keep.
I love Kyle Bowler, man. Like sometimes he would just fall over for no reason. He's
for
like,
no reason.
He was like a toddler.
But
it was fun.
But he was staying. He was coming back the next year. And then we went into week 17. We played the winless Miami Dolphins, and Miami Dolphins got their first win of the season against us. And Steve Bisciotti says, "You're out of here. You are gone." Just like he's like, you know what? He's like,
goes unpunished.
He said, on second thought, I want you gone. And they tried to hire Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett says, "No, thanks. I'm gonna take the Dallas job. Well, I'm staying in Dallas because he was the coordinator at the time, I think, right?" Yeah. He says, "No, thanks. I'm gonna stay here in Dallas with my good friend Jerry Jones." And they said, "Okay, who else we got? We got this special teams coordinator. You want to try him out? All right, man. Let's go with the special teams coordinator, John. You got the job." That's how he ended up here. Okay. And if Harbaugh is too comfortable because they're saying, hey, he's not going anywhere, or nobody's talking about him getting fired, do not think that with this owner. Do not get too complacent, because he speaks his mind, right? He said it. I thought about firing him, decided against it. So that was already in the back of his mind. And you get too complacent, even in a season like this with all these injuries, that don't mean Steve Bisciotti won't do it. Don't get comfortable, is all I'm saying. So if you keep Greg Roman and Wink, Bisciotti can easily look at it and say, "Oh, you know what? He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Maybe we should fire him, or at least, very least, let him know this is your last year. You better win something." Yeah. Village Idiot wants to know what 24-year-old player is going to say to coach, "No, I don't think we should go for it." Yeah. The coach should already know the
Every
decision.
Player will tell you.
Yeah. He should have anticipated it and known what to do. Yeah, I don't like that.
The only player who's going to say, "Let's kick that field goal," is the kicker.
Yeah, it's a great soundbite, but no, you should not be. You should not be doing that. Josh Hoffman says, "LOL. I hope Steve Bisciotti is into the rivalry so that this game and getting to see us send the Steelers to the playoffs made him mad." Yes. Yeah.
Sending Roethlisberger to the playoffs.
Listen. It doesn't help. It does not help. We were expected to win this game. We were supposed to send Big Ben into retirement with the L.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was saying, like, we take the L, and they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, not just them. They lost both games to the Steelers. They lost both games to the Bengals, and they split with Cleveland.
Yeah.
It was an awful year in division for Baltimore.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
What's up, Spooky J? He says, well, for me personally, how about them Cowboys? Okay. See y'all on draft day. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, shout out to the Cowboys, man. Shout out to y'all. Good luck in the playoffs. It's going to be tough, but you got a good squad over there.
I got Dallas going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man.
I think this is their year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to lose in the Super Bowl, but I think it's their year to get there.
All right, we're going to hang out for a couple more minutes, and then you guys watch the rest of the day and see how it plays out. Again, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, we still got about 60 people in here, man. Smash that like button. Smash the like button. And like I said, subscribe here. Subscribe to our other channel, Ring Kings Podcast. It's a boxing podcast that we do with our man Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. And Mikey says Steelers made the players only to get smoked. Oh, made the playoffs only to get smoked next week. I'm just saying, no shade though. Yes,
that sounds like a lot of shade from a team who didn't make the playoffs.
Making the playoffs does mean something though, right? Making the playoffs does mean something. They take a lot of pride in winning, and we do too, but they take more pride. I mean, listen. They have a great coach over there, and he showed you that year that Roethlisberger was out. And he had Mason Rudolph as his quarterback. That was, no matter who you put behind here, this team is going to compete. And Harbaugh has not shown that level of coaching. Okay, and again, I think Harbaugh's a good coach. I think if he were to get fired, yes, another team will pick him up, and they might be snapped
right up.
He'll get
as he should. He'll go somewhere else, and he'll do a great job building up somebody else.
Yes, I believe that.
Wake up call to him.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I think he'll be successful anywhere else he goes, but he's not good for us anymore. And I believe the next coach that we bring in, because we have a good organization, right, guys? We have a good organization. I believe the next coach that we bring in, we will have more success. Yeah. I believe that if we brought in a Byron Leftwich or Eric Bieniemy or whoever they pick, Doug Peterson, who already won a Super Bowl. Yes, we are going to be successful. So what are you guys afraid of? You guys make it seem like Harbaugh is the best, is the only coach that we could possibly get to win here. All right. He gives us our best chance. You're saying he gives us our best chance to win. That's what you're saying. You're saying Harbaugh, Roman, and Wink, because they're a package. Because if Harbaugh doesn't fire Greg Roman and he's not firing Wink, you're saying this coaching staff gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah.
Don't watch football. Don't watch football anymore. That's what I would say.
I will say, to your point earlier about Todd Bowles, if Baltimore fans want that type of defense again, or at least something that resembles it, Todd Bowles will bring that back real quick.
But you know
with
what?
The talent they have in Baltimore.
But you know why Todd Bowles could work? Because just like what they did with Harbaugh, right? They said, look, we're going to help you put together this coaching staff initially, right? You don't get to make all the shots or call all the shots here because you're just a special teams coordinator and it's your first time coaching. They could tell Bowles, listen, we know what you bring defensively. On the offensive side, let us help you bring in, pick somebody to run that offense, right? And Todd Bowles might say, yeah, I mean, that's what Sean McVay does for the Rams, right? Yeah. Hey, defense, we're gonna pick your defensive coordinator for you. He's like, cool. And shout out to another anonymous tip, says, when will the Ravens change? When
just start this off season?
Okay.
I honestly think they're gonna probably wait until after the playoffs. I would think. I don't think they're gonna be in any kind of rush. Yeah. I think they're gonna let everybody kind of decompress a little bit. And I'm not sure when they come back for their kind of like exit meetings that the front office and coaching staff has, but I think it'll be around that time. I'm imagining just a few weeks out. I think they'll let the playoffs play out, and like I said, let everybody kind of unwind from the season before they make any decisions.
Yeah. Jonathan Washington says Harbaugh can go be Vikings head coach and get them to the playoffs. He's not winning in Baltimore. All right.
Devon, yeah, because that's the talk that Mike Zimmer's going to be out.
Yeah, he should be out.
I like Mike Zimmer, man. I think he's a solid coach.
Yeah, he should be gone. Devon Allen says, Jose, I think y'all giving Harbs too much credit. I don't think he can do a good job somewhere else. Why? But I want him gone. Okay, you know what? Fair enough, right? Like, it's right there on the ticker. 5 out of the last 9 years haven't made the playoffs. I understand if you have doubts, right?
Yeah, I think he's gotten complacent for sure, and I think if he got fired and he had to go somewhere else, that would shake him up a bit. He's not he's not an offensive or defensive guy. Obviously, he was a special teams coordinator, and he kind of delegates those to his coordinators. But he's more the CEO type of coach. I think he's great at managing the players' personalities. I think he's great at motivating the guys and everything. So I think he would be all right, moving on to another team. I think he would be fine.
Now I'm curious, right? Look, we don't get too many Harbaugh protectors in here, right? They'll go at us on Twitter all day, right? That's fine. That's where they hang out. That's where they live. But if you're a Harbaugh protector, right? If you're watching the stream, leave a comment, or throw something in the chat, or leave a comment on the replay, and just let us know. Like, why do you think? No, let us know. If we didn't draft Lamar Jackson, if we didn't have Lamar Jackson, if we kept Flacco and we drafted Mason Rudolph, right? Or Darnold, or, whoever, we got some other quarterback, do you think we would have made the playoffs all those years with Lamar, right? Was it 3 straight years? Do you think we would have been a playoff team? Okay, at the very least, you think we would have been a playoff team that year, Lamar's rookie year, right? How many playoff appearances do you think we would have had right now, up until this day, if we had not drafted Lamar? Okay, that's what I want to know. While we sitting here talking about how great of a coach John Harbaugh is, if we did not get Lamar Jackson, how many playoff appearances we would have had? Because the last 9 years, we have 4. Okay, 4. 3 of them came from Lamar. So, who else will we? Karan Moore Watkins says no. Big Red says hell no. Okay. I just want to know how many playoff appearances do you think we would have had? Because you guys give the Harbaugh protectors give Harbaugh all the credit, it seems like, for these playoff runs, and I give him none of the credit. And I'm not calling him a bad coach, but we saw what he was doing. He was missing the playoffs year after year after year, to where the owner says, "I'm about to fire you. You're on the hot seat," and he was still losing. Going into that next year, he was still losing. And then Lamar comes in, and now we're winning, and then we make the playoffs. So I give Harbaugh zero credit.
Yeah, not only just losing, because it wasn't just, hey, you're on the hot seat. There were rumors that he was going to get fired after their next loss. Because you got to remember as well, they drafted Lamar in the first round. They didn't play him. He was obviously a better player than Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
There was no debate about that. He's a better player than Joe Flacco from the moment he got to the NFL.
Yeah.
They didn't play him.
Yeah.
They didn't play him until it became readily apparent that John Harbaugh's job was in jeopardy. That's why I always say that his number one skill is self-preservation.
Yep.
Because he said, "Hey, I looked online, or somebody texted me this article and saying, hey, I might get fired this week. What do you say we put the kid in?" And they did, and they never looked back.
What do I have to lose? Right?
Yeah.
Think about this. Because we know how the NFL works. We know how coach speak works. We know the routine. Lamar did such a great job. This rookie quarterback who, just gave that team a shot of adrenaline, got us to the playoffs. We lose in the first round to the Chargers. Immediately after the game, they asked him, and Lamar didn't have a great game in that playoff game, right? And the media asked him, "Flacco, what are you doing with Flacco? Are you bringing him back? What's going on there?" And usually you get that coach speak. Hey, we're going to assess things in the offseason. Love Flacco, this and that, whatever. He said Flacco's gone. He said it. He's like, "I love Flacco. I love everything he did for us, but this is Lamar's team moving forward."
Yeah, because you remember people were calling for them to bench Lamar and go to Flacco in that game.
Yeah.
People were saying, put Flacco in. He's not playing well, which, he wasn't early on. He turned it around later, and he kind of brought him back. They had a chance to win, but it didn't happen. But people were calling for Lamar to get benched in that game, and he came out afterwards and was like, "No." Joe? No, Joe's gone. I don't know.
Joe who? Start Joe.
Wasn't expecting that question. No, Joe was out of here.
Shout out to Zaul Martinez. He says, I'm new here. Love the Ravens talk. Also love the way y'all show is laid out. Appreciate that. We put a lot of work into this, man. I do believe in our front office, and hard decisions have to be made to get this ship moving. Yeah. It's not easy. I understand it's not easy. Like, you build relationships with these people. You work together for a long time, right? Some emotions are going to be tied there. It's not easy, but it's a business, right? Like, you make cuts every year, right? Those aren't easy too, right? There are players that you love and they've done a lot for your organization. And when their skills decline, you got to make those hard decisions, right? Same thing has to happen with the coaching staff.
And that's why I say, like, that's the Ravens organization as a whole is complacent.
Yes.
They've gotten comfortable. They're just kind of stuck in their ways. They don't want to change things. One of those hard decisions you're talking about is Jimmy Smith. He shouldn't have been back.
Right.
I mean, listen, Tavon Young, I think he had a fine season, but he shouldn't have been back either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that they wanted to move on from those guys. I mean, and I understand. Now, I love Jimmy Smith. I think Jimmy Smith has been a great player for Baltimore, but it's over now.
Yeah.
and he was ready to go. He was ready to retire. He said, I'm not going to play for anybody else. I'm only playing if Baltimore calls me back. Don't call him back. Say, hey, man, listen, thank you. You're going to go into, maybe you go into the Ring of Honor one day. Maybe you can join the staff in some capacity or something like that. But
yeah,
we're going to get another corner in here.
Yeah. But they're going to call him back.
Yeah, but the Ravens don't want to do it.
I'll read a couple comments here from Josh Hoffman. He says Harbaugh had the courage to let Lamar be Lamar. Because that's one of the things that these Harbaugh defenders give him credit for.
He had the courage to pigeonhole a pro-style quarterback into just a running threat save his job.
I heard somebody in Raven Spaces the other day say that that Roman was the best starter coach for Lamar, the best coach to start him out with, right? Because he caters to his skill sets. That's one of those cold sayings that I can't stand to hear, right? That's a dog whistle, right? Because you see this black quarterback that's very athletic, and you instantly think his best trait is running the ball, not passing the ball, right? And the guy, and he didn't mean anything by it, but you hear it so many times, it's just kind of, it's ingrained in you. But he was just like, yeah, I think that was the best way to start him out, and he's developed into a better passer, and I don't have a problem with Greg Roman, but the reality is, Marty Mornhinweg started with him, running a heavy offensive option offense. Yeah. And then go to Greg Roman, which is basically an option offense is what he's running to. And I think those set him back quite a bit because he played in a pro-style offense in college. He could already read defenses. He already went through his progressions, and he was a good passer. And all you did was limit all that stuff coming into the league. So I think passing-wise, you set him back a few years by this nonsense offensive schemes that you're doing. And the sooner you get rid of Greg Roman, the sooner we can start on that path of having an explosive offense. Because no matter who you bring in, you're not going to run this offense anymore. This is done with. This is a gimmick, right? And it's not because of Lamar's limitations. It's because of Roman's limitations. Because you're seeing it right now. He can't run the ball without Lamar. He can't put together any kind of passing scheme without Lamar. Lamar has been the leading rusher of this team for 4 years now. Yeah, this is the fourth year.
Years. Well,
not the first year.
No, he was the first year too.
Oh,
he played 8 games. He led the team in rushing because they also switched to Gus Edwards halfway through.
That's
when
right.
They put in Lamar. So he led the team in rushing that year as well. He led the team this year despite missing 5 games or however many it was. And I don't give Roman or them any credit for the player that Lamar is. In his first full season as a starter, he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
he completed, I think, 66% of his passes. It was just over 3,100 yards, so they didn't pass a whole lot, but he led the league in passing touchdowns. He had a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yes.
Greg Roman didn't do that. Greg Roman's never had a passer like that. That was Lamar.
That's all Lamar.
And Lamar played an incredible season. And listen, it was, we said at the time, he's not going to play like that every year. It's not possible to play to that level every year because he was carrying everyone else to such an extent because they didn't have a lot of talent around him. You could see similar production if they would build around him, but they haven't.
There's our guy Suge. Shout out to you, Suge, man. I was waiting for you to come through. He says, "Hey, LBHT crew, I love all of you. Look, I'm not here to talk crap on the Ravens, but where is Raven Ron at? Raven Ron, we told you he was coming." He says, "All year I had to hear it. Just remember, Steelers on top all day. Love Hendo, Ferris, Davon, and all of the LBHT crew." Hey, shout out to you, Suge, man. I appreciate you coming through. Suge is a Steelers fan, and, man, look, talk your trash, man. Talk your trash. Yes. This is part of the rivalry. You deserved it. You earned it, okay? Yeah. And we've got another anonymous donation. Shout out to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Despise to hear those cold words, too, all about Lamar. Yes. I despise to hear those, too, man. Like, I hate it. When I hear his skill sets and all this stuff. That's just code. That's all that is. That's code. You don't say that about Josh Allen, right?
You don't say that about anybody. And listen, a lot of people question Lamar's intelligence. Lamar is an extremely intelligent quarterback.
Yes.
I don't hear anybody questioning Zach Wilson's intelligence. Zach Wilson was awful this year.
I mean, look, we talked about Baker, right? I don't hear anybody.
Baker's coming back too. They say he's coming back. I told you they're gonna sign him. They're gonna try to buy some legitimacy.
They say he's coming back. They didn't say anything about an extension though.
Not yet. But yesterday he wasn't coming back.
Baker looked terrible this year, right? Yeah. And there's never been a point of questioning can he go through his reads. It wasn't a question about his intelligence. Nobody even questioned his passing. He just it's just, hey, he's not playing well.
This dude is obviously not working out. Nobody's even questioning his passion for the game.
Right. Not being able to make it work with one of the best wide receivers in the league. And as soon as that wide receiver leaves, he's got success elsewhere. And the team got even worse because the thought was it's Odell that was holding him back. Right. And it was funny. They threw everybody off for 1 week because as soon as they traded Odell, they had a big game against Cincy. And they're like, see, it was Odell the whole time.
And they were in the driver's seat. And then it all fell apart.
That driver's seat went off a cliff. We got another donation, anonymous donation. Shout out to you.
Thank you.
Says, Mr. Jackson can handle any passing offense. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. There is no passing offense that he can't run. There isn't. Right. So when you talk about skill sets, it has the running. You can abandon that. Somebody asked me on Twitter, well, what happens if the next coach comes in and wants to abandon the run? I said, good, get rid of it. I hope we have a June Jones type of offense here, right? We don't have a fullback. We don't have goal line formations. Just pass the ball. Lamar will be just fine.
Yeah. Listen, Pat Ricard is a great player. He really is. I don't like fullbacks, but Pat Ricard is a great player.
Yes.
Time to go.
I don't want to see him ever again.
No, I won't say that, man. I hope he gets a job somewhere else and he can come to Baltimore and play, but not in a Ravens uniform.
I want to see him on Ravens Day. I don't want to see him in our team.
You know what I hope for him? I hope they let him go and he gets a Kyle Juszczyk contract.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I'm all for players getting their money. So yes, I hope you get paid. I hope Bradley Bozeman, I hope you get paid. Just not here. Okay. Just not here. I would be very upset if you got paid here. Let's see here. Just Alice says, idiot morning wig wouldn't let Lamar throw in his first playoff game until the fourth quarter. Yes, and he almost brought him back.
When Lamar took over the play calling himself, allegedly.
Yeah, when he finally got to throw, he almost brought us back. Exactly.
Yeah.
He almost brought us back. Tanja says, maybe they shouldn't hire friends. It makes harder to move on. that is Harbaugh's problem. Well, the problem in the NFL is nepotism. And you talked about Zimmerman earlier, B. Somebody put out an article last week of how when nepotism rears its ugly head because Zimmerman's son is on the coaching staff. What was he, offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? And they're talking about how he's not good. And the only reason he's there is because he's a son. He's passing up good coaches to get that job. And nobody says anything when you're winning, but you're not winning anymore. So now people are talking about it. So that's the problem with nepotism is you bring in your people, you better make it work.
Your people ain't great.
Yeah, and we said before, like the saying on the Engravens channel is Hood Harbaugh. Well, man, look, Hood Harbaugh got hood friends, and sometimes you gotta leave your friends in the hood, right? Like you can't. Sometimes you can't take the hood with you. Like
you know what? You don't even have to leave them in the hood, but they can't come to work with you.
Yeah. So I mean,
Gray can sit at home and play PlayStation.
Harbaugh needs to make better friends, is what I'm saying, right? Like you're not bringing in coaches that are getting the job done. It's okay if you want to bring your friends. I would do the same thing. I'll hook up my friends, right? If I got a head coaching job, be coming with me, right? The LBHT crew is coming with me. Mikey from Off the Record Podcast, he coming with me. But if they're not getting a job done, yeah, maybe I won't fire him, right? But I'm gonna have to have you slide over to a new position. I'm gonna have to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, right? Yeah. He tried to, and in fact, he tried to do that with Morningwig. Morningwig didn't get fired, right? He got demoted. Or he got told, hey,
going to, yeah.
Yes, hey, I want you to take this other position, and Morning was like, no, I'll take that position somewhere else because I don't want to be demoted on the same team, right? So yeah, I mean that's fine, but you can't keep them in the position that they're in and doing a bad job because that's how you all get fired. All right, Devon says thank you, Brodny. All right, let's see. Tony says, but Lamar didn't run this in college. Exactly. He didn't run option in college. He ran a pro-style offense. He had a lot of rushing yards because he could run and pass. I mean, he did everything. He literally did everything.
He had the same passing stats as Baker Mayfield, who won the Heisman and went number 1 overall, but he also had 1,500 yards rushing.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Iron Addict, he says, it's time for the Ravens to have a black head coach. Man, I'm with you, man. I agree. Like Look, I want a good head coach first and foremost, but my top candidates are the black coaches, man. Eric Bieniemy, I really like Eric Bieniemy. All right, I like Byron Leftwich, and I like what Todd Bowles did with the Jets. And shout out to Theo Barry on Twitter. He suggested another name, the Colts offensive coordinator. I forget his name.
Brady, wasn't it?
Yeah, something Brady. I forget, but
I mean that offense didn't do too much today when they needed it.
Not today.
Marcus
Brady, but he's been doing a good job I think he's been the coordinator for the last 2 years. He's been doing a pretty good job. That's another candidate you can throw in right there. Jim Caldwell, Jim Caldwell hasn't gotten another shot since his last head coaching job where he got fired after a winning record with the Lions, which, by the way, was the last time the Lions had a winning record.
Yeah, he did a good job in Detroit, and he got ran out.
Yeah. So, but because the thing about it is with black coaches, it's understood. Unfortunately, it's understood that you play by a different standard. Right. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna come in understanding the expectation is higher than what the last coach had. So they know whoever you hire, whether it was Bieniemy, Leftwich, whoever, they're gonna come in understanding we have to go far from day one. Right. Yeah. Or I can be out of here. Look, there are rumors about in Miami.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. No, go ahead. You go ahead and say it. Go ahead. And say
it. In Miami, they finished this season. Well, they haven't finished yet. Last time I checked, they were still winning, but they've got 8 wins coming into today. Right. So they could go 9-8. They could go 8-9. Mm-hmm. They missed the playoffs. Last year they had 10 wins. This is a team that was rebuilding. Right. This is not a good team that Brian Flores took over. Yeah. But they've had success. They haven't made it to the playoffs yet, but they've had success. And there's rumors about them firing him for Jim Harbaugh, so they can bring in Harbaugh and Deshaun Watson and kind of take off from there, even though Brian Flores is doing a good job. You look at Arizona. They drafted Josh Rosen, number 10 overall. They hired Steve Wilkes, who was the defensive coordinator in Carolina. He came in there with Josh Rosen. He got 1 year. You drafted a terrible, terrible quarterback, a colossal bust, and you fired your first-time head coach after 1 season. And then you brought in a guy who had been fired in college not too long ago, and you let him draft a new quarterback at number 1. They collapsed at the end of his first season.
Yeah.
And they said, "Yeah, it's fine. We'll bring you back. We'll go get you DeAndre Hopkins. We'll go get you JJ Watt. We'll bring in all the talent that you want, and we'll get this thing right." They don't do that for black coaches.
Yeah. All right. A couple more comments and we are up out of here. If you're new, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, right? That's our lunch break hot take show, our LBHT show that we do every week. And right after the show, we do a overtime show for our patrons. We're going to tell you a little bit about our Patreon real quick. So if you're interested in signing up for as little as $3 a month, that's all it takes, right? Two king size candy bars. Actually, 2 king size candy bars nowadays will cost more, but we have one tier right now. We're going to start the $10 tier again pretty soon. But B, just real quick, tell them what they get for signing up.
Yeah, so in the $3 tier, you're going to get, like as I said, access to the overtime show that we do every week after the live show. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. All the patrons are in there. We talk about any and everything. You also get entrance into our NFL Pick'em League, and the winner of that gets a trophy at the end of the season. So that's a lot of fun. The previous tiers that we had, you would get entrance into our fantasy football league. We're going to be bringing that back pretty soon. We're converting that into a dynasty league this year. We gave out giving out a custom championship belt for this season to Deshaun Team Stoner. Congratulations again.
Congrats, man.
And there'll be an award like that. We're thinking about maybe switching it up from a belt, but we'll see. But there'll be some sort of trophy at the end of every season there. That will also get you the ability to request specific content, articles, videos on whatever topic you would like, and both tiers get you into our Discord channel.
All right, and also we have put the link to the website real quick. We sell merch. So if you like what we're wearing right here, right, you can get all this stuff on the merch store. You like what B's wearing there. If you like. You want to keep your drink nice and cold right here, something like this. We have all kinds of stuff on that link right there, lbhtshow.com/shop. Right, that's where we're gonna get Living Legend.
I'll say if any of y'all see Living Legend, tell him to get in here on Wednesday, and we will begrudgingly give him a shirt or a hoodie or something like that.
We'll give it to him. He didn't win it, but we'll give it to him. Justin Houston let him down, but LBHT will not let him down. Okay. All right, let's read a few more comments and we're going to call it a night, man. We want you guys to watch some more football because that's our other saying here, man. Watch other games other than Ravens games and Panthers games if you're a Panthers fan, right? Watch other games so you have an understanding of what other teams are doing, how other players look. So, when people say, hey, Prochet could low-key be the poor man's AB, you can laugh at that, right?
Because along those lines, shout out to Jalen Waddle, who just set the all-time NFL record for receptions by a rookie. He's at 104 right now. They're still playing. They're winning right now against New England. But yeah, he broke the record.
Yeah. All right. Village Idiot says, heard some bad things about Trevor Lawrence. They said his athleticism didn't translate and that he's not reading defenses fast enough. I feel bad for Lawrence. Nobody ever blames the coaches. I mean, it's hard to gauge this year because he had Urban Meyer coaching him.
My man tore up them Colts today. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be just fine. They'll get a better coach in there. I think he'll be just fine. He showed some flashes this season. He's got that talent. He is that guy, and he'll be all right moving forward. I think the same thing with Justin Fields. Don't know on Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Zach's spraying the ball all over the field, man.
Josh Hoffman says, but we're not running Jose's analytics crew. Listen, I don't have a problem with analytics, right? But you have to execute. That's the other part of it. Okay. Yeah. I didn't like all the every 2-point conversion. Like one of them I understood and I agree with. The other one I didn't like. Going for it on 4th down certain times, whatever. I get all that. You're taking a calculated risk, but the other half of it too is you have to execute. And I don't feel comfortable a lot of times because we don't have a good O-line. We don't have a competent passing offense. So that's why I don't feel comfortable with it. And shout out to Shug. Shug sent another tip. He says overtime show is the best thing ever. Join the LBHT crew with the overtime show. You will not regret it. Also, I want to say I love Ferris. Oh, I love this crew. I love this crew. You all mean the world to me and have been there for me even through hard times. LBHT crew for life. Yes. Shout out to Shug, man. Much love to you. Much love to you, man. Yeah. So like the analytics part of it, I don't know why people have a problem with that term analytics. Like, I mean, like play some advanced football. Okay. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
They're just statistics.
Yeah. Just but yeah, the execution part is what we need to fix. Raven Ron says, would y'all fire Wink and bring in Vic Fangio? I like Vic Fangio, but Vic Fangio and Harbaugh do not like each other, and there is no way.
they could fight it out. But no, I wouldn't bring in Fangio. I would fire Wink. But yeah, they gotta look a little deeper.
Yeah.
Look a little deeper.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony Hendo says, I'd fire my mother the day after I hire her if she wasn't advancing Lamar's skills.
Tony's a little harsh. But okay.
There you go. He cares about winning. Josh Hoffman says Lamar's Heisman year, he had, I think, 3,500 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards. Yeah.
Unbelievable season.
He also says, I wish we had Brian Flores. That dude has balls.
With no NFL talent on the roster with him at Louisville, mind you.
None.
But yeah, no, Brian Flores, I think, is doing a great job in Miami, and I hope they let him continue doing it.
Yeah. See, Iron Addict says Byron Leftwich would be great. Look at what he had with Winston. Yeah. He's another coaching candidate, man, and they've been talking about him for years, right? He's never gotten. I don't even think he's gotten interviews really, but he's somebody I definitely take a shot with. Let's see. Some people like the Caldwell pick. Yeah, Zaul says Caldwell. Yes. Let's see.
I'm gonna tell y'all again. Because Harbaugh's not going anywhere, and you're just looking for an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
Call him up.
Just Al says, guys, my vacay is over, so I'm probably going to miss the Patreon show for a while. It's all good, man. Look, that's why there's replay. Okay, that's why there's replay. Totally understand. Look, overtime show, we talk about anything and everything. It always goes longer than we plan to go, but it's a lot of fun. But
yes.
If you join Patreon, you can look at some of the older videos. They're all up there. But yes, check it out. Definitely check it out. He also says, I'm rooting against Josh Allen and Joe Burrow in the playoffs. I'm a hater.
There you go, man. How do you hate Joe Burrow?
I like Joe Burrow, man. I like when our division is good from top to bottom. I like competition. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase and what's the other receiver? I'm forgetting his name. T. Higgins. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because we should have that kind of firepower. But I would love to see us have that kind of firepower going up against them. That's entertaining, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's entertaining. It's not going to be fun if we don't get that and they just keep – listen, I don't care what defense we put together. Juice Gardner is not stopping Jamar Chase. I promise you that, right?
Sauce.
Or Sauce Gardner, Juice, Sauce, whatever. Sauce Gardner, I was close that time, but he is not stopping Jamar Chase. No. Okay.
Look, the big thing with him is he never allowed a touchdown in college, which is amazing.
That's going to change.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
and it is going to change a lot and early.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say again, I'm just going to put it out there one more time. I know you're talking about draft picks right now, but Ken Dorsey. He was the quarterbacks coach in Carolina with Cam Newton. He was the quarterbacks coach in Buffalo for Josh Allen. Track record of success right there. And now, he left Buffalo. He's the Miami Hurricanes offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. You can pluck him out of there, no problem.
I would make the offer, but again, we have to have a conversation. Well, not we. I say we. Eric DaCosta, Steve Bisciotti they need to have a conversation with John Harbaugh this offseason and say, we're taking away some of your power now. Like, you don't get to choose your coaching staff anymore. Like, you don't. They're not working out. We're going to fire Greg Roman, and we are going to pick your coordinator. And he should be fine with that because he shouldn't have any hand in the offense whatsoever. Like, he's not an offensive guy. So they say, hey, look, defense, whatever. You guys can work that out. Offense, it's not working out anymore. We don't like the direction that this offense is going. We don't like how Lamar is being handled, and we got to pay him a boatload of money. So we're going to take care of that side of the ball, and we want you to be hands off on that. And he should say, okay. All right. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
Leave. Right. You want complete control? Go somewhere else and have complete control. You're not having it here. You've lost that privilege. So, all right. That is it. We are going to, let's see. Kimberly says Antonio Brown leave the Bucks. He a free agent. He left the Bucks. He's a free agent now. Yeah, the Bucks cut him. We were supposed to talk about that. We'll say that for the Wednesday show, I guess, because the way this is playing out, more news might come out on that. I'll just say this: we know what it is with Antonio Brown. I don't feel sorry for Antonio Brown, but the Bucks are also wrong on this. Yes. They are also very wrong on this. They had, of all the reasons they could have used to cut Antonio Brown, all the valid reasons, they picked the one reason that was the wrong reason that they should not have cut him for. Okay, they cut him because he was hurt. Like, you could have picked any other reason, but he was injured, and we didn't like him telling us that, so you're out of here. Nope. Yeah. Stupid. That's a stupid organization right there. All yes. Right. Yes, we don't like the way defense is going either. Yeah, no, we don't like the way the defense is going. We don't. But it's even worse on offense. When you see your quarterback, like I said, 2 years in a row, he's gone out with injuries, right? That cannot happen. All right.
Yeah. And listen, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just to make Ravens fans feel a little bit better before we leave, Miami's stomping out New England, so you weren't going to the playoffs anyway. It doesn't matter that you lost to Pittsburgh. In fact, it's good that you lost to Pittsburgh because now you get the higher draft pick. But yeah, Mac Jones out there playing some Mac Jones ball, and I don't mean that as a compliment. But yeah, tonight, you got the Chargers and the Raiders. Assuming they don't tie, the winner of that game, is going to the playoffs. Steelers that are going along with them. So that should be an entertaining game. That's a do or die game for both those teams. Also, starting at 8:30, if you have NBA TV or if you know how to find a link on the internet, Klay Thompson is coming back tonight against Cleveland, against the Cavs. He's making his debut. Klay hasn't been right for the last couple of years. He tore his ACL, tore his Achilles, so it's nice to have Klay back. So, that's another thing to check out this evening.
Yeah. All right. And also, like I said, a lot of new guys in here, guys and gals, we cover a lot of sports on here, not just football, not just Ravens and Panthers. We cover NBA. So in this offseason, you're going to hear us talk more NBA, boxing. We talk boxing on this channel. We also started a new channel, Ring Kings Podcast, where it's exclusively boxing. And we also do UFC. So,
yeah, we were really excited about the Volkanovski and Max Holloway fight, which was announced and then immediately canceled.
I feel bad for Holloway, man.
Yeah, I do.
Because I think he got robbed in the last fight, and he should still be a champion. So I hope he gets another shot down the road. So
it looks like they're going to replace him with the Korean Zombie, and I feel bad saying that, but they never say his real name, so I don't know his real name off the top of my head, and I think that's really disrespectful.
I don't even think it's anything that hard either to say.
No, because I've seen it before. I just can't remember it because they never ever use it. I have to look it up.
Yeah. Also, Aljamain Sterling is going to be on that card. He's going to fight Peter Yan in a rematch. So that should be exciting.
I was really pulling for Aljamain in the first fight, and I'm a little scared for him in the second fight.
And no Howard Klein. We don't do NHL in here. No NHL, no MLB.
Chan Sung Young.
Okay, yeah.
Chan Sung Young. Well, but to expand on that, if you did join the Patreon, Our guy Ferris is in the OT a lot, and he does talk a lot of hockey.
Yes, no OT. Yeah, the hockey is discussed in the OT because he will talk about his the Kraken, Seattle Kraken. So
Yes.
there you go. All right.
Get it cracking.
And also he'll talk F1 racing if you're into that. So
which you should be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Look. This channel could be a lot of things. Okay. You
gotta keep justice for Hamilton.
Look. The $3 is well worth the admission to go over the time show. I can tell you that. All right, y'all. We are getting out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. For the new subscribers, to all the tips today, man. We really appreciate it. We put it right back into the show. And yes, Wednesday we'll be back 7:15 p.m. And B, are you ready?
Of course.
Okay, B is ready. Guys, enjoy the rest of the night. Ravens are out, but the playoffs continue. We're going to continue covering the playoffs. So be right back here Wednesday to talk some playoff football and some more Ravens and Panthers talk. All right, y'all have a good night, and we will see you Wednesday. Peace out.